I can't tell you how many times I've met someone who's done everything right. They worked hard for 30 or even 40 years. They saved diligently. They invested wisely, and now, after decades of effort, they're sitting on $2 million or more in retirement savings. And on paper, that sounds incredible. Most people would assume they're set for life. But here's what happens next. They sit down with me, look at their plan, and they quietly say, "Mark, I know we've done well, but I still don't feel like it's enough." And I don't blame them, because that uneasy feeling, that fear that you could still run out of money, has really nothing to do with the balance in your account. It's not about greed or even wanting more. It is about, well, uncertainty. What if the markets crash? What if I live for 30 years or more in retirement? What if my healthcare costs double? The truth is, even $2 million or more can feel fragile when you don't know how to actually turn it into income. Because here's the secret. Peace of mind doesn't come from a number that you have saved. It comes from the structure of your plan. And that's what I want to show you today. Hi, I'm Mark Wisniewski, President of Southern Incomes. If you find this helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you'd like to see how to turn your savings, whatever that number is, into a clear, tax-smart income plan, there's a link in the description where you can book a time with me. Now, let's talk about why $2 million still feels like not enough for so many retirees, and how to change that feeling into confidence. Part 1, the illusion of the magic number. We've all been told that there's a number that means you've made it. People tell me their numbers all the time. First it was $1 million. Then inflation, market volatility, and longer lifespans moved that target to $2 million or $3 million. But here's the truth. There's no magic number. You can have $2 million and feel anxious every day, or you could have $800,000 and feel completely secure. The difference is, it's not the dollar amount, it is how that money is designed to pay you. Most people think wealth equals safety, and that makes sense, right? But safety doesn't come from accumulation. It comes from distribution, from knowing exactly how your assets will produce income every single year, regardless of what the market does. Without that clarity, even a large portfolio could still make you feel uncertain. Part 2, the real fear. Will it last? Here's the number one reason $2 million doesn't feel like enough: longevity risk. When you retire at 65, you're not planning for 10 years, you're planning for 30 or possibly 40. That's 3 decades or more of inflation, healthcare costs, and up and down market cycles. And even though $2 million sounds huge, when you divide it across 30 years of income, it starts to look a lot smaller. Let's do some simple math. So say you withdraw 4% a year. That's going to give you $80,000 in income. Add taxes and healthcare, and suddenly you're down to maybe $60,000 or $65,000 net to you. And that's assuming that the market cooperates with your plan, which, as we know, doesn't always happen. The real risk, it's not running out of money on paper, it's running out of confidence that you'll have enough money that you won't run out. Part 3, market volatility, the emotional drain. Even the wealthiest retirees tell me the same thing. It's not that I can't afford a market drop, I just hate watching it happen. When your entire lifestyle depends on your portfolio, every market headline feels personal. You're no longer watching your investments grow like you did when you were working. You're watching your future swing up and down every day. That's called sequence of return risk. And that's withdrawing money in down markets early in retirement, and that could permanently damage your portfolio's ability to ever recover. And that's exactly why $2 million still feels unsafe for so many people. It's not about the math, it's about that uncertainty. They know one bad stretch of returns could undo decades of savings. The key is it's creating a system that makes your income independent from market performance. So your plan doesn't live and die with the S&P 500 stock index. Part 4, the tax trap few people see coming. Here's another reason why retirees feel like $2 million isn't really theirs. Much of it is pre-tax. Most high earners save in 401ks and IRAs, which means they deferred taxes for decades. When you retire, that money is going to be fully taxable. And starting at age 73, the IRS forces you to take required minimum distributions, whether you need that income or not. That's when retirees start realizing, my $2 million is really more like $1.4 million after taxes. Add to that Social Security taxes, Medicare surcharges, those IRM-AA surcharges, and potentially capital gains, and it's easy to see why that big number starts shrinking really fast. That's why tax planning is not optional, it's essential. Because if you don't control how and when your taxes are paid, the IRS is going to do it for you. When I ask most retirees, so what's your income plan? They usually point to a statement. They say, well, here's my portfolio. But that's not an income plan. It's a collection of investments. But a true income plan shows you where every dollar will come from, year by year by year. It accounts for taxes, inflation, market volatility, rising healthcare costs. When you have that, you don't have to guess. You can see exactly how your money supports your lifestyle, even decades into the future. That's what separates those who feel safe from those who stay stuck in doubt, even with $2 million in savings. Let me give you a quick example. A couple I work with had $2.3 million saved, and they were living on Social Security plus withdrawals from that account. And they told me they were afraid to spend, even though they could easily afford to. When we built their income roadmap, we broke down their portfolio, in this case, into 3 parts. A short-term income bucket, that's for the next 3 years, cash, fixed income. Then we had a midterm stability bucket. That's years 4 through 10, bonds and other conservative investments. And then, of course, a long-term growth bucket. That's 10 years out. It's stocks for inflation protection. And when they saw how each bucket worked together, how their income stayed steady, even if the market dropped, I think they finally relaxed for the first time in years. In fact, the wife said, so I guess we really didn't need more money after all. We just needed to see how it all worked. That's what a real income plan does. It replaces being anxious with being relaxed. At its core, you could see the problem is not financial, it's psychological. Retirees today, they have more money than ever, but they also face more uncertainty than ever. The markets move faster than ever. Tax laws are constantly changing. Healthcare costs, they're as unpredictable as ever. And people are living longer than any generation before them. So the question is not, how much do I have? It is, do I have a plan that adapts with me? Because without structure for income, for taxes, for your spending, no portfolio will ever feel like enough, no matter how big it gets. The goal isn't to have more money, it's to have more clarity. When you can answer these 3 questions with confidence, that's when you can finally feel like you have enough. 1, do I know how much income I have to safely withdraw each year? 2, do I know how to minimize taxes on that income? 3, do I have a plan that protects my lifestyle through the market ups and downs and rising costs? If you can confidently say yes to all 3, that's true financial freedom, because you stop worrying about if you'll be okay and you start knowing you will be. So here's the truth. $2 million is not the finish line. It's a starting point for smarter planning, because peace of mind in retirement doesn't come from the size of your portfolio. It comes from the design of your plan. If you want help building an income plan that turns your savings into predictable, tax-efficient, long-term income, one that gives you clarity no matter what the market does, book a call with me using the link in the description. We'll take what you've built and show you how to make it work for you, so you can stop worrying about, do I have enough, and start living the life that you earned. Thanks for watching, and remember, $2 million isn't peace of mind. A plan is.